Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 5 Soviet premium cruiser Murmansk. It has 10 main guns, 6 torpedoes, 26 AA guns, a top speed of 34.4 knots, total health 26,800, modules used, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase AA range, reduce flood and fire chance, and for my commander, basic survivability, and lower chance of fire. We're on the map New Dawn. I spawned in and I headed for the area between B and C, so I could support both. It looks like the enemy is already at B, probably a destroyer with the smoke being there. And I'm just waiting for him to appear. And I caught a glimpse of him as I was rattling off those stats, but he's staying hidden. And of course he shows up as I commit to the other target. But we have another target, a military target. He's headed for the C point, enemy cruiser. I apologize right now. This is a replay. Unfortunately, I just lost my train of thought when I was playing this game. And by the time I realized that I should record it, the game was halfway over. So we went through the replay system instead. So there's going to be a little bit of weird jankiness when I zoom in. And you're not going to see that nice clean line that I used to line up with the water line. But we'll make do, right? So this guy is moving in the cap. Don't know why. We've got like 6 friendlies on his butt. I was shooting HE, and I switched to AP, hoping he would show his side, and he does. And we're a little bit unsuccessful. Need to aim a little bit farther back on the ship. Still minimal damage, and he runs aground. I don't blame him. He's gonna die. And he dies fast. Someone got, 12k in a shot. Congratulations to him. He sends out torpedoes, but not successful. So we got another enemy cruiser. We still have AP loaded, and you could see how terrible that was. We land 3 shots. Only one does minimal damage, and that's because he was angled. The ideal scenario is he'll be broadside. And we're aiming a little too low. He's moving away from us slightly, and he commits to being a little bit more broadside with us, and we land a shot. We do no damage. We should have a good chance to do damage once this island moves out of the way. But the Murmansk, it's an Omaha, a better Omaha. I mean, I can't really say it any other way. It has better range on both the torpedo systems and the main guns. And here is where AP is paying off, right at that water line. We get 1 Citadel penetration. We don't get anything. Come on, let's get another good, accurate shot. And we get 2 more Citadel penetrations. If we could just get 1 more. Oh, no! Falls short. And a friendly, of course. At least the target is dead, right? Well, there's a couple enemies at B. Enemy St. Louis. See if we can kill this guy. He's a little angled, not ideal. Probably would be more effective to use HE. But that's not my problem right now. My problem is I'm running into a friendly, and we just kiss a little, and there's enemy torpedoes coming my way. I just barely avoid that one. One hits the friendly, and he avoids everything else. Oh, that was so close. And another set. And this time it looks like we will be able to avoid it again. Oh, not close enough, right? Let's get close so we can take off some of that camouflage paint. Ugh. But we're still alive. Didn't take any damage from it, so we're good. Still have AP loaded. Still shooting right for that water line. And it's not really being that effective. Kind of need to get the shots to land right at the propulsion system to really get the most damage potential. This is a scenario where if you don't get Citadel penetrations, you're probably doing less damage than if you were to have HE. But This enemy St. Louis is so dead, it's not even funny. It's just who's gonna get the last shot. He is way too far forward, and he's gonna pay for that. Now, there's an enemy battleship on my starboard side, and he's AFK. So, yeah. Sucks. There's gonna be another AFK battleship. Not on their team, on my team later in the game. We still had AP loaded. We just want to unload that and switch to HE. HE, mandatory. If you're in a cruiser with this small caliber going against a battleship, you're just not going to do the kind of damage you want to do. And this is an easy kill. This is not anything other than get him out of the game so he stops spotting us. There's no one who can threaten me right now, so I see a little friendly Wix. He sends out his torpedoes, and somehow he doesn't kill him. It looked like he missed one set. I don't know how you do that when the target can't move, because he's AFK, but looks like he's actually back now. No, I don't think he's back. He's just wiggling because of the replay. I really do feel bad. I really don't like how much quality suffers whenever you use the replay system. I definitely don't want to ever have this happen again. But this game was so amazing, I just had to show it. So the Hosho, trying to run. He ain't gonna do none of that, my friends. We're gonna try our best to light him up. But he's not in an ideal situation. We've got, you know, enemy torpedo bombers that want to kill us, so we have to keep that in mind. And they drop. We get a Citadel, conveniently, as we're avoiding torpedoes. They're gonna go harmlessly next to me, and I just want to make it close, right? That's the part of... I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to turn my full broadside, but I sure made it look real close, right? I didn't mean for it to be that close. I'm gonna get another Citadel penetration on this Langley. For some reason, both the carriers were right next to each other. Their funeral, right? The only thing that'll save them is if I get harassed by another ship. And I'm taking some fire. I think I'm taking fire from either this Clemson? No. It's probably the battleship in the background. You can kind of see the battleship's at C6. Just trying to get this Clemson, and we already earned Confederate. That's how many different targets we've done damage to. We're only 10 minutes in, and we earned Confederate. This is in the real game. I was like, maybe I should record this, right? just completely blanked on that, and we just not landing every shot. It should be easy. But I do want to avoid taking damage from this enemy New York. So I don't want to show my broadside until I see that he's fired all his guns. And we try to get the Clemson. He's committed. Looks good. Only one round strikes the target. For some reason that friendly destroyer sails right up next to this Clemson. And he's probably going to regret that. Yep. If you sail that close, you better be prepared. And I'm maneuvering from the Langley's torpedo bombers, and I'm just getting decimated by me and the friendly fighter. We've killed 13 aircraft. And this New York, oh, I was so scared. I'm like, oh, please live. Oh, little points of damage. 1,300 hit points, okay. More than enough, right? I really don't want him to fire again. And for some reason, he chooses not to fire again. I can see that his turrets have already shifted. So, I'm just gonna move away, keep firing as I move away. Hopefully, I'll be able to help get damage on the target. I see that there's a couple friendly cruisers who are basically chain firing their guns. Whatever works. It's still really close. We got a enemy cruiser and a friendly battleship fighting over B, and I noted that at the time. I was like, who's gonna win that battle? But just gotta try and catch this guy on fire, try and help my team. He's honestly sailing pretty predictably, and since he's a New York, he's a very slow battleship, so it's a rather easy shot to land. I was just seeing, it looks like the Omaha, the enemy cruiser, won that battle between him and the battleship. But we are now behind the enemy. They have 2 carriers to our 1, so they should theoretically be having more success taking out targets, but it doesn't look like that. Both the carriers have 0 kills. And we just got this New York. Just trying to adjust the aim just right, and then we fire, of course. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe he wasn't in range. That's probably what it was. He wasn't in range. Interesting bit of knowledge. This reticle, this targeting that appears over a target, actually increases your accuracy with that target. If anyone's ever tried to fire on a target without setting them as your primary, you will know that it's very hard to hit that target. So, at the extreme range when they're outside of the range, but they will move into range when the round reaches the target, you don't get the benefit from the increased accuracy until you can set them as your target. And you can see we're just landing 4 to 5 shots every time. You know, it's setting them on fire. We're doing 1 to 2k damage. He's right at that point where I can land every round, and he's just not firing on me, and we earn caliber, high caliber off of that shot. And yeah, friendly kills an enemy that was barely alive. Now we only have a enemy battleship, and we've got 2 aircraft carriers that are trying to run. And if you look at the battleship, his turrets are pointed towards C. So we're going to try and get damage on him. Unfortunately, we did not land a shot to interrupt his ability to capture. So we need to eventually move towards that. Otherwise, we'll just lose on points because they have a double the tick rate. In the Murmansk, this is honestly the first game I played the Murmansk since closed beta. My closed beta experience was not positive, but first game Murmansk, you get Confederate high caliber. I'd say she's working out. Now this South Carolina, I think he's turning his guns on me, because you can see they're pointing to his port side, and now they're pointing at me because he's turning his port side. So I'm a little hesitant. I'm obviously angling my ship, and for some reason he doesn't fire, and he is just holding his fire. I can see his turrets were looking at me, but now they're just... I don't know what this guy's doing, but I'm going to take every opportunity and do damage to him. I obviously can't take a shot because I only have 1,300 hit points. But I would love to be doing way more damage than this. I just can't get within that kind of range. And it looks like, unfortunately, he's going to go behind the island. No! Now, an interesting thing about the Murmansk is it has the scout aircraft. It doesn't actually have the fighter aircraft. So you can extend the range, and you can also get that eagle eye view that mod uses, which I don't think you should allow. But we've got this enemy battleship on the other side of an island, but we do have a enemy carrier that's in range now. So we pop our aircraft. We've got that bird's eye perspective, and we're gonna go to town. And we get this for as long as that aircraft is up, and it's up for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And for some reason, this Hosho is just like, I'm just gonna sit here and not move at all. And then he disappears, and now I'm like, where exactly is he? Why didn't you finish him off? Okay, we try and land any more rounds than we can, but without the target set, the aim kind of maneuvers a little bit with the ship. So we've got that battleship and that enemy carrier. And the battleship is coming out from behind that island. And the aircraft also gives me a way to fire over islands and see where the target is moving. So it's a pretty nice little feature. It's clearly an advantage. That mod is clearly giving an advantage. So we open back up on this guy. He's just not caring at all. That battleship that's over at I-8, he's been AFK since the beginning of the game. Yeah. So that carrier is trying to run for his life to avoid that fire from the enemy South Carolina. We've pulled back ahead with a friendly cruiser destroying the Langley. Now, if he can get the Hosho, we'll be in the driver's seat. And I'm obviously headed to B, just want to get it. And we're just keeping up the fire. No mercy. Over 211 rounds so far that have made contact with the enemy. And we got the island away. Can't really do anything about that. The rate of fire is so quick that you can make those shots. You can just be a little greedy. We move into B, and now we have a much better shot. Looks like friendly dive bomber actually was successful in setting on fire. He uses damage control. So for 10 more seconds, he'll be immune to our fires, but then we'll be able to set him on fire. And nope, he's still immune. Possibly this salvo will be able, if we land it obviously, to set him on fire. Yeah, we don't set him on fire, but we are interrupting his ability to capture C. This is a really close game. 50 seconds to go. If he were to capture C, and maybe I die from this shot, we would lose. But I'm already thinking ahead, buddy. I got this nice island in the way, and I turn my ship. That's the only way you can die, right? You gotta kind of consider what the enemy's go-to strategy is, and making sure I minimize the target is the best way of living. We set the front. He's got one on the front and one on the midsection, and there's only 15 seconds left. It is possible we can kill him if I could just land some of these shots. Oh, come on. I'm just desperate. Can we kill him? 5 seconds. And friendly lands a bomb. And he barely survives. So I was able to obviously record the ending. Over 500,000 credits. Base XP of 2,500. 2 kills. Couple medals. We did something like... We did around 140,000 points of damage between AP, HE, and fires. And I enjoyed that game. I hope you did too. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.